quality, you can't really tell. Because they were like a lot older, they didn't like want to talk to us, right?
Yeah, I don't know. And it seems like, you know, they were like, they had like their own little group. I mean,
yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
What's up, everybody? So for this week's video, I had been planning on covering cars and coffee. Unfortunately, that event was canceled, and so I will no longer be covering it. Basically, what happened is I went out there with my cousin, and only 3 cars showed up. It was me and 3 other cars. It was 2 Ferrari F430s and a ZL1. And we heard from a guy over there that they actually canceled the event for Treasure Island and it will no longer be held there. So if you guys are familiar with the Bay Area, basically there's this bridge that goes into San Francisco from the East Bay Area in California, and it's called the Bay Bridge. And in the middle of that bridge there's an island that connects the 2 sections of the bridge, and that's where they used to hold cars and coffee. It was a really scenic area. You got a nice view of the city, and there was a decent amount of space. Unfortunately, they ran out of space, so they can no longer hold it there, and they're also renovating on the island. So the guy who's organizing that basically said that they can no longer hold it there, and they're looking for a new location. So until further notice, there won't be Bay Area Cars and Coffee, or at least that specific event. There's one held on every Sunday at Black Hawk near San Ramon, so if you guys are familiar with the Bay Area, or San Ramon, Dublin area. And that's held on every first Sunday of the month. So coming up next month, I'm going to try to attempt to attend that, but it depends on how my schedule is and everything. But at least on the way back from that Cars and Coffee, it was kind of a fun ride. The 2 Ferrari owners were driving side by side. And actually there was a 5th car, I lied. So they're, yeah, I guess like including me, it would be a 5th car, but they came with the 2 Ferraris, and it was a Carrera, an older Carrera 997. So we just drove back together, and that was kind of like a fun little ride, and that's how that Cars and Coffee went, unfortunately. So basically that's canceled for this week's vlog, and I didn't really have anything lined up with that, or lined up in place of that for this week, but I was going to ask you guys, and I don't know if it's be something you guys are interested in, but I didn't know if you guys wanted this vlog to be more specifically about cars, or vlog is what I meant, but if you guys wanted it to be more focused on cars, or just maybe like, I don't know if you guys saw my previous videos, but I said I do like what I do for a living, and previously I owned a business, and I'm looking to get back into that, and I'm actually looking at some possible like prospects at the moment, and I have a meeting coming up here in about like a week's time, and I'll be possibly getting back into another business. So if that's something you guys are interested in, and like learning about that process, or you know what I do to get into it, and just some of the like stuff I do behind that, I'd be more than willing to make vlogs about that. But I don't know if everyone who's like subscribed to this channel is specifically just focusing on cars. So that was just an idea, and I was trying to think of stuff, you know, to cover for this week. Another thing that I could possibly, well, I'll actually be doing, because it's more car related, is I'm looking to restore my 67 Mustang. So it was passed on to me from my dad. It's a 67 Mustang, and it is in pretty terrible shape, unfortunately. But this week I cleaned out the cylinders, and I'm hoping to try and get it started up by next week. So that's something else that I'm going to be covering in this vlog. And then, like I said, in these coming weeks, I don't know if you guys know what Pebble Beach Concourse is, but that's coming up next month. I'll be there all week, and I'll be covering that. I'm gonna try and shoot like a daily vlog there, and basically those are like the ideas I have. One thing for this week though is, I don't know if you guys saw, but the GT2RS was seen, and I actually would like to try and attempt to reserve one. It's a car I'm kind of interested in getting, and to be honest, I don't know how long I would hold it if I did purchase it, but I am actually on my way to attempt to try and get a reservation, or at least to get a invitation to the unveiling party. I have a friend who's a Porsche owner currently, and he actually was invited to the unveiling of the new Panamera in Monterey, and he tried to get me down on the list, or at least, as soon as they did have a date for the unveiling of the GT2RS for that dealership, to get me in on that. So I'm going to attempt to do it in Monterey, and I'm actually on my way to another dealership now, and possibly going to speak about them and see if they're going to get any allocation, and if I'd be able to put down like a deposit or anything and get a reservation on that. So there's some things that'll be upcoming for this vlog, and like I said, this was actually my first car that I bought brand new, so this will be my second one, and yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. I really doubt, since I'm gonna go in there and I'll be I don't know, usually when they see a younger person, or at least from my experience in business or in anything where it involves like larger sums of money, they usually don't take you seriously, so we'll see how this goes. I'll let you guys know. So here's an update. I actually went to the Porsche dealer, and they kept telling me up and down that there wasn't a GT2RS coming out, just because of everything with emissions and whatnot, but I don't think that's the case. So I'm gonna go ahead and hold off on it. But what they did do is they gave me a couple build sheets for some GT3s, some GT3RSs that they do have on order. I would show you guys, but I'm currently driving. These are them here. So one's the ultraviolet and one is a white GT3RS. And basically what's going on with those guys is there is an insane markup on them. So I don't know if you guys are aware of how much GT3RS retails for, but it's about like 200 MSRP. And so I was like, well, what are you guys asking for? And I know that ultraviolet is the rarest color of those cars, and the build sheets, they're right around 200. So there's some pretty nice options on those. I think the white ones come in with the carbon ceramics. If you're tracking the car, that wouldn't be like the optimal thing to get. And then for like someone who isn't planning on spending a ton of money, but the purple ones come in with the regular brakes, and they're asking for a $200,000 markup on the purple, and I believe like a 125 or 150 markup on the white. But then if you obviously put in an offer, they work with you and whatnot. And honestly, I don't know what dealerships are thinking when they're asking for those types of numbers, because these cars, there is a markup on them. They obviously sell for quite a bit more over MSRP, but I don't think it's that drastic. And if you guys look them up, they're not that drastic. It's probably like, realistically, you're looking about $80,000 to $90,000 markup on a brand new car like that. And if you had gotten in on these cars prior to like the whole hype of them and everything, right when they were dropping, you could have easily bought one for MSRP, and dealerships were selling them for MSRP. So I just want to give you guys a quick update of how that went. And I think honestly, to be able to reserve something like the GT2 was just like a long shot, but you probably have to be a previous 918 owner, and then somewhat like the 911R, and then you would obviously have to go straight through Porsche, because I think as soon as those land, there's just going to be no way to purchase the car for MSRP. They're just going to instantly begin selling those cars through dealerships for quite a bit more than what they should be retailing for, the MSRP, the manufacturer suggested retail price. So I just want to give you guys an update on that, how that went, and just a little bit of info. But yeah, so that's basically all I wanted to talk about for this week. I didn't really have anything in place with the cars and coffee, like I said. And I just want to say thanks again to everyone who's been commenting and liking the past videos. And if you're not already subscribed or you're interested in seeing the material that's going to come out in the future, please do. And I will see you guys next week. What's up, everybody? So I'm just going to do a really quick update. I know I failed at getting an allocation for the GT2RS, even though I don't even know if it's going to be dropped or whatnot. And honestly, I think if you don't have a personal relationship with Porsche, you won't be able to get one or get allocation for one, because I talked to the dealership and they're like, we only got one GT2RS last time it dropped, and they get pretty high volume of the GT3. But what I was successful in doing is I received allocation for the new body vet. So I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a mid-engine spy shot taken of what looked like kind of like a C7 body Corvette driving, but it seemed to be more mid-engine just because of the way the rear looked. So as soon as that does drop, the dealership which I purchased my Z06 from, I'll be getting allocation through them, and I'll have the first, basically once they have allocation for one, I'll be receiving that first one. I'm not 100% positive I'll be purchasing it. It'll all depend on how the market's looking and everything for the car at the time. But I am guaranteed at least MSRP on the car, and we'll see how it goes from there. So just a little update on that, and wanted to let you guys know.